We're back again. Can I just get the latest on the players who've been away? Solanke, Kolo Muani, anyone who's out maybe available for this weekend?
Latest is that everyone that was available for latest Premier League game is available again. And midweek, Pablo was out shortly, as I said, was a precaution. He was good trained today, so that's positive. Kolomwani is just the dead leg is just dragging on, so it's a little bit annoying. Just take a few more days, so he'll not be available. Dom is not available, but yeah, that's the status. Yeah.
Are you starting to feel here now less training, game, presser, game? Are you starting to feel it now as the season's really ticking in?
Yeah, you can say that. It's definitely been that the last 5 games. So, but yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. Get on with it. Prepare, perform, win, prepare, win, perform, win. That's the plan. So yeah, fine.
A lot of tough decisions you've got to make daily as a head coach. But João Paulinho, loan to option to potentially permanent, could that potentially be the easiest decision you could make as Tottenham head coach? He's had a great start, hasn't he?
Very happy with João. He's done very well for us. Come in, helped the team, performing well, playing centre back and still doing well. So really pleased with him. Yeah, very pleased with him.
Finally, Thomas, the Together Against Suicide campaign starts this weekend. Every 90 minutes, someone takes their own life. How important is that we all look out for each other, and what can football do to help with mental health?
Yeah, I think we definitely need to help each other and look after that. That's a bad stat, and there's another stat that 1 in 4 is considering committing suicide, which is as bad. So we need to help. I'm very happy that this campaign is going on. I know it's very important for Vinay, our CEO. I think in general for me as well, I think suicide is the worst you can do. But before that, there's a lot of steps where you may be mentally not in a good place. And we all know it's all about speaking to people. And if you don't have anyone in your closest network, you reach out to the helpline or to a local community because we need to help, we need to speak, and we speak openly about it.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Peter.
Hi, Thomas. Could you just tell us how far Dominic is away from being fit then?
Dominic is, as I said, his ankle injury has just been a little bit tricky. It's nothing big. We're relatively positive about it'll be relatively quick.
How much of a selection headache is Richarlison giving you with the impending return of Dominic? It's 3 goals and 1 assist in his first 5 games of the season.
Right now it's very simple and very easy. Richie is playing and Richie is doing good. As you said, scored 3 goals and 1 assist. Is good numbers. So yeah, happy with Richie. He just needs to keep building, keep adding good performances, keep arriving in the right areas in the box. So yeah, that's positive.
Another player I wanted to ask you about was Lucas, only 19 years of age, but something you said is that he takes the team with him. What's his ceiling?
Good question. Hopefully as high as possible. My finest job together with the coaches is to maximize potential in every player, maximize potential in the team. That's my most important task. And Lucas is a fantastic prime example of that. How can we maximize his potential? Right now he is in a very good flow. Right now you can just see he's full of confidence, and that's a fantastic position to be in. So pleased with him. Also, he's, I think, adding more and more to his game now. He's arriving more in the box, for example, which is important.
And finally, tomorrow is the start of 3 games in about 10 days, I believe. Obviously, you want to win every game, but how much would that help getting this run of 10 days off with a game and continuing your great form in the Premier League?
Yeah, of course, it will be super important. We are facing a good Wolves side. I think everyone is aware that they haven't had their best start in terms of points. When you look at their performances, they're much better. They are much tighter games. You can see the games they've lost, except the City game, is very super tight. So I expect a very difficult game. This is a team that we the last 5 times haven't been able to beat. So I think we're very fully aware that this is a team. Another game in the Premier League, you could take nothing for granted. You can't think you can just walk over any opponent. So we need to come flying out, be ready for it. We need the fans behind us. They need to back us every single second of the match. But I'm very confident. I'm positive that we'll go out and perform well tomorrow.
Thank you. Best of luck.
You're welcome.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. How easy is it to guard against the fact that your team could be overconfident against the team who are bottom and have lost every game? I mean, you speak well about the fact you have to expect a difficult game, but stats would suggest this should be probably one of the easiest games to predict of the whole weekend.
That's because we always look backwards. We don't look into the next game. The next game is a completely. Every game got its own life. Every game got its own story. I'm always. You asked me these questions before in the past, and I was thinking, is the best to face a team that's been unbeaten in 10 games or a team that haven't won in 10 games? I don't know, and I actually don't care. I just know we prepare for Wolves. We look at their strength and the areas where we think we could potentially hurt them. And then I think our players are I think it's good that our players are in a good place. They're confident, but also know that we need to work very hard. It's nothing going to be easy. And also they know the stat as well. That we haven't beat them the last 5 times.
It's a busy week. You've already been asked about that. But busy for the team, but also for you. In a way, you're not used to this, are you? You're used to having a game, then a whole week with your team to prepare and to go through everything. How much are you learning on the job this season with having to play literally game, maybe one rest day, one preparation day, and then bang, go again?
You can say learning over the time of the season, because having 2 days between games, I've probably done 100 times or something like that in my career. 3 games, similar, but I haven't done it 300 times. But do you need to have 300 times? 100 is probably enough to have your routines in terms of how you prepare the team. So I think that's the most important thing. I think we have a very good. We as a club got a very good coaching group, very good staff, where we have a clear idea and process how we want to do it, but we constantly discuss the small details. So, for example, we had some that played a lot of minutes Wednesday night. They are on the second day. We still want to get a little bit out of them, but also some that didn't play that need to get a little bit more out. So how do we get that physical load bang on? Plus, we want to get all the details in. So that is the ongoing discussions constantly. And there's no one fit all kind of match day -1. It's a constant small little bit development. So I think it's the discussions that is important. I think we have got a good framework we want to get in, and then constantly developing a bit.
You've been asked about the mental health initiative, and obviously Spurs greatly involved in that. Can I ask you, sadly the football community lost Matt Beard last weekend to suicide, and I get the impression it's much better now than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago for players who aren't feeling well and need to come out and talk to managers, coaches, whoever. What about managers? Because, I mean, you can't turn around and say, right, I'm not feeling mentally great today, I want my assistant to come and do a press conference. Or I'm not feeling, it's all getting on top of me a bit, I want my assistant to go and coach on the sidelines. Is there enough care taken for managers, and do you have someone you can go and talk to?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think first and foremost is an opportunity to pay tribute to Matt Beard and his loved ones, wife, kids, family, friends, and everyone who worked with him. And I think it's a very relevant question. I think for everyone involved in the game, as you say, players, of course, that's highly pressurized. but everyone feel the pressure in a different way. That can be a physio, there can be a performance member of staff, it can be everyone who's involved. And then coming back to that as a manager, for myself, I use good friends, my wife, and then others that are in the environment, so other head coaches, because it's quite unique, I can say, job. And I also said many times before, I've got a leadership mentor that I also use. So I think that to be able to speak to others, I think is very important. And I'm very aware you never know if that pressure, how you call it, stress hits you one day. I will say I'm quite resilient to it, but you never know. You can't neglect it. I think, but speaking open about it, I think it's hugely important. But also understand that this is such a big world, but also a very small world. Okay, we all know each other. It's just because it's so much publicity that makes it a little bit tricky sometimes. Because I know it's the most important thing, or maybe the most important thing of not important things in life, and I think it's important to put it into perspective. You're welcome.
Thomas. Can I just double check on Dom? Is he still feeling any discomfort in his ankle?
It's not perfect, but we are going forward in the right direction.
And there's been more kind of takeover talk. The club's rejected a third approach in the last couple of weeks. Is it strange to come to a club that kind of is in this moment of change from one that was obviously so stable for so many years?
Yeah, there's a few more questions about it. So the short answer is yes, but I'm, you can say, to start was very stable. Daniel's been here for almost 25 years, so very, very easy, of course. Then the change came a little bit, okay, didn't expect that. But since then, the new old owners, or whatever we call it, the Lewis family, has been very transparent, very good in the way they communicated. It's very clear. Club is not for sale. Vinay on top of everything. It's very clear. So for me personally, I feel a very stable environment going into work every day. And I also learned over a lot of years that's the only thing that helps me and helps the team is that I do everything I can to focus on the team and the players.
Just want to ask about Luca Williams-Barnett, obviously since his debut. It looks like he's been involved still in first team training. There was a video that went out. How's he been in training? He must be buzzing after making his debut. Yeah, no, of course, very happy. In so many ways, it's the first step in many things is always a very important step. But after that, there's a lot of next steps that he needs to take. But of course, it's nice to see him getting his debut.
Hi, Thomas. Just following on what Ali said, have you had many interactions with the Lewis family yet?
Yeah, I think I said that one of the 2 or 3 times ago. So we had some interactions. Yeah, definitely spoken to them. So it's been good.
Just on Kolo Muani, how did he actually suffer the dead leg?
In training, I think it was Pape that ran into him. So I need to blame Pape. So yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's just a contact injury. So, and it's one of those where sometimes they can take a week. Other times they're obviously now taking a couple of weeks because it started bleeding again, unfortunately.
Just wanted to ask you about Radu Dragusin as well. I think he's finally started training with the group again. How's his progress coming along? And yeah, is there any time for him? Sorry.
No, sorry, I was interrupting before you finished your question. He's progressing well. He's been on the grass for 3 weeks-ish or something like that. So he's progressing well as he should do. We all know coming back from ACL is a longer one. So it's on track. It will be some weeks before he's able to be involved in the squad.
Hi, Thomas. Another one about the ownership, unfortunately. With the Lewis family, you've obviously spoke to them, but have you kind of had a more formal meeting with them to speak about their plans and I guess your plans? I think you spoke not long afterwards about wanting to have that meeting. I wondered, had that taken place, or is it kind of booked up for maybe the October international break? No,
we have had more informal chats. Of course, it's about football and the club and the team and all that. But the bigger plans is something we're working along with, and I think it's important to get to know each other and align everything.
And I guess just with Dom, he was training earlier this week, wasn't he? Is
Yeah.
he still training, or has there been sort of a setback? Is that why he's kind of
No,
not-
you know, because when you have that, when there's a bit of pain, it's just to get it right now. So he's right. He wasn't on the grass today, but he was on the grass early in the week.
And I guess just with him, and I guess Kalomani as well, you know, Dom's not played now for a month. Do you need to kind of build them up again when they do come back, rather than them being training and then being on the bench? Is it kind of a process to get ready for the first team?
Yeah, I think I think Dom has been running a lot and actually done a lot. So he's in a fine-ish place. Of course, it will take a few weeks to get up to a good place. And Kolomani again now has been off the grass for a couple of weeks, so it will take some weeks after that.
Sorry to come back on Blanky, obviously really key player here, and we haven't really seen him yet. Was there a bit of there's been a problem sort of diagnosing the issue?
No, I think sometimes you okay, let's say you got a calf strain or hamstring or even ACL, very simple, very easy. Sometimes it's just a little bit more tricky. So this is a little bit more tricky without being a problem.
What is it? Is it a ligament thing?
No, it's inside the ankle.
Do you expect him back before the international break, for example?
I expect him back as soon as possible.
Because obviously, I mean, big player, and we haven't seen him, and we've sort of heard for a few weeks now, not a big thing, but I guess we're now a month and a half into the season, and we haven't really seen him.
And true, it's still not a big thing.
So talk about injuries more generally, because obviously I'm sure you know it was a big problem last season, and I think you said a few weeks ago there's something we need to look at. Have you and the medical staff sort of come up with a broad kind of plan as to how you think that can be solved? And the record so far has been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think that was one of the big areas that we looked into when we came in, and I think I see it as like a holistic picture, because it's between the coaching department, the performance department, and the medical department. And it can't be like three departments not communicating to each other. It needs to be three constantly communicating back and forth. It's how we train, how well we train, and how we plan that. I think all that so far has been good. And as you said, touch wood, we haven't had any any soft tissue or muscle injuries, which are the big ones that we would like to avoid. We have had a injury to Kolomani that's like a dead leg contact injury, and then we have Dom miss kicking a ball. So two relatively unlucky ones. So can we nail and get on top of the soft tissue and muscle injury? Probably impossible to completely get not have any of those injuries, but so far so good, and we were very aware of it.
So your mind is really mainly about kind of training.
I think it's workload in training. It's not how can you say too little. Definitely enough intense, because we need to train intense. We want to play intense. Then I think it's all about the planning. I think it's gym. I think it's recovery. I think it's a lot of bits.
Because it feels now, big picture in the game, like injuries are worth almost 10 points in the league, right? Like the teams that are cleanest in terms of injuries are the ones that finish high.
Oh, 1,000%. There's no. If we have plus 90% availability, so important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The message from the club and from the Lewis family has been club not for sale, not for sale. That's been reiterated throughout, as you mentioned earlier. I suppose cynics might say, anyone who they would say that until suddenly it's sold, because you've put yourself into a stronger position, I suppose. You said you spoke to the Lewis family. Can you give fans sort of a bit more, not assurance, but from your dealings with them, the feeling of how invested they are in Spurs for the long term?
Very, very invested. 120% committed to the club. Really want to achieve something special. Want to build. Want to add. And again, I think I like the phrase of building layers, because you never go to the top. You can't jump 5 steps. That's impossible. So building layers, I think, is very important. I think that's also more organic and more sustainable over time. But they're very, very focused on do what they can to help the club and team.
And just to change topic to Xavi Simons, you talked about the basis of the success so far this season has been getting that solid defensive structure, and now you're going to start to add the attacking element as the players start to gel. Xavi, in these last few games, has really started to show what he's about, his ability to pull the strings in midfield. At Brentford, you had Christian Eriksen, who was obviously a wonderful player here, took set pieces, was a great playmaker. Do you see a comparison there with Xavi, and what do you think he can bring to this team that we haven't seen so far once he's really up to speed?
I think he got that, how can you say, he got a few things, I would say. I like his composure in possession. So he, every single time he received the ball, seems like he got half a second more before he passed it or to take players on. So I like that a lot. I think the way he also can see passes not many others are seeing, I think is important. And also the way he carries the ball forward, I think is a key thing. So I think those are the big things. And then, of course, he will arrive and he will score goals and all that. But I think those three things are key areas.
Is there a similarity with Christian? Mentality and
yeah, I think they're a little bit different. I think Christian was maybe even how can you say, they're both playmakers, different type of playmakers. I think now also I try to remember is a few. Of course, I had him when he was 17 or something now. So, but I think he was in a way a little bit deeper playmaker, and I think Eriksen's longer play was exceptional. I think when he was here outside the box, when he found Dele Alli in the box, those crosses. I think the balls in behind, I think, are exceptional. I think his finishing outside the box was exceptional for Eriksen. Where Xavi is maybe a little bit more in between lines, ball carriers, more 1v1 player than Eriksen, but both of them very good players.
And since you were asked about mental health earlier, I seem to remember at Brentford, was it Michael Caulfield, the psychologist, was a big part of Brentford. I don't know, Tottenham probably have psychologists, they've got a massive department, but why is that so important in football? And if they don't have something like that here, like Michael, would you look to bring someone?
Yeah, I think Michael Caulfield was and is a fantastic, important person for Brentford. I know he also does things a little bit different, and he's a big believer of that ability to talk and talk with people. And the best example is his bench at Brentford training ground, where you sit and talk and you sit and interact. And I think that's just a lovely thing. I think that's for all of us. And what is the best thing? That's probably a chat with a loved one or with anyone, and anyone that actually asks you a question. How are you? Not always joking with British, but how are you? We always say I'm good, but no, really, how are you? And how's the family or how's work? And maybe ask a few more questions than just how are you. I think that can make the difference. And I think as psychologists, yes, very important. But I think we all have a responsibility to do that.
Some from Ian's question about, as a manager who you speak to, you said other coaches and you said a leadership mentor. Can you just elaborate a bit more? Who do you speak to? Who are these other coaches and who's this leadership mentor that you can chat to?
Yeah, leadership mentor is an older chap in Denmark that I've known for years and used regularly the last 8 years, something like that. And that's more about leadership. Of course, if you have any, you have so many decisions and there's so many situations you need to deal with. But good to have another one to speak with. I think personally for me, my wife is very important to speak to about that, and of course also friends. And then I think then you also speak to some of the English coaches here. You can always use that. But I think the one I speak the most to is Kasper Hjulmand, is the former Danish manager that's now at Leverkusen, because we like grown up in the Danish system. I've been head coaches for many years, so he's a very good friend, and then he's the same time of job, and that you can really relate to some of the challenges we could have.
And just one final question, just on the same topic. People often talk about exercise being great for mental health for obvious reasons. I was watching your interview with Michael Carrick, and he talked about going runs around Richmond Park and around here in the morning. I suppose just to elaborate a bit more on what you think that does for you, what goes through your mind when you go for these early morning runs, what are you thinking about? Are you imagining the match, or are you thinking about your preparation?
I think that they're definitely I'm a big believer of always love to do some exercise. So I do runs 3-4 times a week. Now I hope we will get a paddle court soon, Anthony. We need to get down and play a little bit because I think it just takes your mind away. Of course, when you're running, the mind can still go, but you just feel good after, and you always feel a little bit sorry for yourself when you're running, but in the end, it's good. If you play, let's say, paddle or you do something, I think that's social thing in it is also good. I think probably the next exercise I'm going to mention is probably a little bit more difficult to do, but when you're skiing, and I'm skiing, I love skiing, when you're on top of the mountain and you're going downhill quite quick, you cannot think about anything else that avoid crashing, okay? So I think that's also give you that mental break. So I think exercise in general is good. I've worked with kids, I worked with kids and grown up with special needs. Just see sports being together just makes a difference. So, I know I'm a head coach for Tottenham, one of the biggest clubs in the world, but I just love the game, and I just love to see when everyone is attacking, old people, kids, everyone. That's why it's such a big game.
Finish with Matt, please.
On Xavi again, he's only started a few games now, but big change for him coming to the club. I wondered how long you thought it might be until he sort of gets fully up to speed and produces his best.
I think it'd be relatively quick, but it's always a little bit difficult to guess about. I like what I've seen so far for him. I like the Brighton half an hour because he was arriving in some of the areas we wanted to, having 2 good chances. Could have set Richie out if not Lucas was not taking the pass away from him. But and I said the West Ham game I think was promising. I think there's also good moments against Doncaster where he's driving the ball forward, setting up Wilson, setting up a few situations. So I think you'll just more and more. I think you're playing with new teammates. That relationship is important. So you need to understand when he's coming, he's actually on there. I'm playing interfere. He was actually going away. But so that bit is important.
Obviously, like a new league and a new country as well, some new challenges. What are sort of maybe the adjustments you've been working with him in training to help with that?
I think the biggest adjustment is probably the intensity in the Premier League, and that's difficult to work with in training. Of course, we try to train with intensity when we train, but because we play quite a few amount of games, there's not many where we can have that bit. But when we can, we try to get intensity in. So I think for me, it's just for him to not adapt, but get used to more and more of that intensity.
And just one more on the owners again. They've obviously been more visible, particularly at matches recently. Do you think that's a positive in terms of maybe building a connection more with the fans than they had before?
Yeah, I think it's important to be visible. I think if you're an owner or you're a leader or you're something, I think it's important to be visible so people can see you. So I think it's positive.